Hello survivors, and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. And in this video we are going to be taking a first look at Gold Mythic Abraham, No Way Out, who is going to be coming to RTS as an advanced token will recruit. Now visually I did do a teaser on this character before. We saw the art on the left hand side and I did wonder if that weapon was going to make it into his hands on his attached character. Like, as you can see, it is. He looks absolutely amazing, very much geared up, very much what we kind of would expect from Abraham. Visually looks really cool. And on the left hand side we can see the art again in a bit better detail. Also it is animated and he is just like non-stop. He's got quite a heavy stock of ammunition there, so he should be absolutely fine. He is joined by Rosita. We get a couple of these duet kind of art pieces, and you know, they're kind of characters that are synonymous with each other. I think this is going to be war veteran Rosita, because we have got the 7 on Abraham's arm and the 7 on the back of the truck. So it seems like there may be a duet when it comes to the characters. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to work together. We'll have to wait and see. If we check out his stats at level 1600, limit break 3, he has got 50,477 attack, 18,694 defense, and 24,304 HP. He is going to be a tough character. He is going to be of the damage roll, Gold Mythic of course, and he is going to be joining the Alexandra Allegiance. Now, taking a look at Abraham's Adrenaline Rush, it is called Head Popper. It is a 66 AP cost rush. Deal 1000% damage to an enemy, plus 300% damage if that enemy has bonus HP, or if the enemy has 20% or less of their max HP, remove 100% of their bonus HP and attack the enemy for 250% damage instead. So it's basically just a very heavy hit. We'll read the first part. 1000% damage, but it goes up to 1300% if that character has bonus HP. Bonus HP with deal damage is probably pretty brutal to deal with, so you'd still want to chunk down the bonus HP a little bit before you did that hit, just so you didn't have to get through too much of that bonus HP with someone who's got quite a heavy nuke plus a specialist skill that can actually keep characters down when he takes them out. So you do want to get that last hit on his character. Now the second part may seem strange, but if someone is at 20% or lower HP and he attacks a character, he has to actually attack them. Deal damage will not work. He will proc his specialist skill and it'll be a guaranteed decap and an execute. That's basically how his specialist skill works. But the bonus HP has to be removed, so it's perfect. It basically allows him to proc the specialist skill if that is, you know, actually able to be happened. So let's say a character has 100,000 HP, they've been reduced to 19,500, but they've got 100% of their bonus HP. He'll remove all that bonus HP, just do an attack, and then he'll proc his specialist skill, and he should be able to just take them out of the fight. Now, obviously, there are characters with resistances to decap and so on and so forth, but it is a guaranteed takedown, so you won't have anything, you know, weird happen where there's maybe reductions in damage, so on and so forth. It should always be able to take the enemy down as long as he hits them, so it should be absolutely fine there. So this is just a damage dealer's hit. Let's just test it out. I'll try and do it on both of these occasions, like the first half and the second half. The second half's going to be half the setup. Let's see. Okay, so we have got Abraham's Adrenaline Rush. As you can see, I can attack any character. If they have bonus HP, I should do 1,300% damage. It should also do trait damage. We'll attack Nor up the top. And as you can see, that's effectively 1,300% damage from Abraham. Now, he can't hit crits. It's just pure damage. Just worth noting. And as well, you can't actually see this, but the character is actually decapped because obviously how his kit works with his special skill, he will decap people that he takes down that can be decapped or haven't got any sort of resist on them when it comes to decap. Now, other things have happened in his kit, which we will get into a little bit later in the video. I'm going to try and get it into a situation where someone's got bonus HP and less than 20% HP. That's actually going to be pretty difficult, but we'll see if I can do it. Okay, so here we are in the scenario. We can see the character up the top has maximum bonus HP and also has less than 20% of their max HP. What should happen is when I do the Adrenaline Rush, it should remove the bonus HP. You'll just see it instantly disappear, and then he'll do a basic attack. This can crit, this can not crit, but it'll proc his specialist skill. You should see the specialist skill marker pop up above his head. We'll do it. See the bonus HP removed, and then it procced his specialist skill, and he can resist, obviously, like I said, on the actual decap itself, which has happened in this particular case. Just worth noting, that's what has happened. You have to be careful when you use this Adrenaline Rush Otherwise, you're going to have a character get picked straight back up if they're not normalized, when they can't be decapped, so on and so forth. Now, going straight into looking at the upgrades, you can see at grade 3 it gets an upgrade where we get 300% damage if that enemy has bonus HP, and that's the thing we just showed in the last clip. At grade 5 it gets an upgrade where if the enemy has 20% or lower of their max HP, remove 100% of their bonus HP as well. This is 2 copies. It will work in combination with that 250% actual attack, which can proc the specialist skill like I showed before. Then at limit break 2, it gets plus 350% non-attack damage. So I think what this means is it goes up from 650% damage to 1000% damage, because it's non-attack, as in it deals damage. So then it can't crit, but it also can't have like characters like Regina's passive reduce the damage that it's going to do. Kind of the same way how Ruben's damage works, it can't be reduced by Regina teams. Abraham's going to have exactly the same situation occur. However, the second part of this can be blocked by Regina teams, and I'm not 100% certain if that is going to be a problem when it comes to actually proccing his specialist skill or not. I may try and test it out, but like I said, it's very hard to get that situation to even occur. The most important part about his kit is the deal damage, being able to bypass it for sure. So the next thing we're going to check out is going to be the signature move of Abraham, and it is called Switch Shots. It's got an initial cooldown of turn 1, cooldown of 1 turn, number of uses unlimited. This fighter gets 100% attack for 2 turns, deal 800% damage to an enemy, or if that enemy is of the support or medic role, make 2 attacks of 400% damage, which is 800% total instead. So the first part, the damage buff, is going to happen before this comes in, so he will actually be buffing his actual signature move, but also he can potentially buff his Adrenaline Rush if he manages to get his Adrenaline Rush for turn 2, and I would say that is potential to happen. He has got AP gain on his kit, as you probably noticed, and that is pretty much from takedowns, and the deal 800% damage with 100% buff has a good chance of taking someone down. This is only going to happen against characters that are not of the support and medic role. If they are support and medic, it will do 2 separate attacks instead, and this can be problematic against Regina teams. Like I said, there'll be reduction in damage, so you've got to be careful who you kind of select in this situation. But there are going to be quite a lot of tanks on Regina teams. So Regina herself, I think, is a control role character, so actually targeting her will be absolutely fine. She seems to be the obvious person to target with Abraham, just to be 100% certain that's what you're going to do. And her first turn signature move is actually pretty hard, you know, hitting, so it's not too bad to take her out quite early as well. But this means that Abraham has some usability against non-Regina teams and hits crits, and crits do obviously hit harder, generally speaking. 800% with 2 400% hits with 100% attack buff is almost always going to hit better than a straight up deal damage 100%. And let's test both of these out just to show you. Okay, so we're going to start the fight, and I will use his signature move against a non-support and non-medic first, just to show you the kind of damage that it's going to do. But it's mainly how the damage is going to work. He hasn't got 1535s around him. He hasn't got mods. I'm not trying to stack his damage. I'm just trying to show you how it technically works. It cannot proc his weapon, but it also cannot proc the enemy's weapon, and it can't crit. So obviously with deal damage, you need to get as many boosts as possible. The 1535s, the mods, and any even excess buffs over the 100% that you can get would be good. Now, it might not even take down this enemy because it isn't a massive hit, and it doesn't, as you can see. And if I command now, though, because what will happen is he'll have his Adrenaline Rush. The last time we did the Adrenaline Rush against Nor, we hit for 270,000 damage, but that was without the 100% attack we have. So now we've got the 100% attack. We're obviously going to hit for a lot harder, 420,000. And this is quite important. You need to be able to get his damage up high enough that he gets a takedown on turn 1, because he needs to get the AP, which he gets from taking down an enemy because of other parts of his kit. And then he'll get his Adrenaline Rush naturally for turn 2, and he'll still have that 100% attack buff. And generally speaking, that rush then will be able to take out a lot of characters for sure. Now, what if you select a medic or a support character? We'll select this character up here. Now, I haven't got a stun weapon on this character, but inert characters generally will have stun weapons. And that does mean that the potential of he could get stunned on the first or even the second attack, because he can proc weapons, but he can also proc his own weapons. But if you make his, gear him too much that his weapons are like proccing is important, he's not going to get as much out of it as he would when it comes to how much he needs for deal damage. So you've got to really balance it very carefully with Abraham and his weapon. But we'll do the signature move here, but you can see the hits are going to be way higher. The first is 190, and then the second is actually for 56k. That's actually kind of, I don't know, it's actually not strange. When we attacked Angel the first time, we did an 800% deal damage, did the same damage as a 400% crit. So you can see the difference between crit and deal damage. Big difference. It's almost double the damage on a crit when you hit an actual crit. But deal damage can't proc weapons. It's a bit safer. And if it was a Regina team, there's no chance of being reduced to 0, which is what's going to potentially happen with that signature move if you target the wrong role. Now, obviously, this character is usable against other teams, not just Regina teams, and teams that don't have any damage reduction. Crits are amazing. Crits are amazing. Just hit the crits. You've got to be careful of weapons. Things like disarm will be important, but Abraham will be able to nuke teams very, very nicely indeed. If we look at the upgrades, you can see at grade 2, he gets 300% damage boost. So it should go from 500% damage up to 800% damage on the deal damage. I would assume it's the deal damage. And then at grade 4, it gets -1 to starting cooldown. So it actually goes for a turn 1 starting cooldown quite early. Then at limit break 2, it gets +1 to attack. So initially, it's just a 400% attack. And then it goes 2 attacks of 400%, 800% total, which is obviously great. Then lastly, at limit break 3, it gets an upgrade where this fighter gets 100% attack for 2 turns. And like I showed, it comes in before he does the damage. So it is going to amplify his damage. This is really good because he needs the amplifiers, like I said, especially if it's going to use the deal damage part of this. You need as many buffs as possible, and 100% attack is really good. You don't necessarily have to build him in a team that has attack boost like you have to do with Ruben. Like I see a lot of people using Ruben on Ellen teams or with Ellen as a leader. Even though he's not getting the Ellen bonus, he's getting a massive attack bonus because of how Ellen's kit works, because deal damage needs that. Whereas Abraham's kind of providing that to himself to a certain extent. So then on turn 2, he'll be able to do his adrenaline rush with that big boost. And then on turn 3, you could do the signature move again. But if you've already taken someone down with the adrenaline rush, the way the AP gain might work is he could maybe do his rush again, but you would do less damage. It's a balancing act. You'll get used to it, I'm sure. But this is how his signature move works. You have to just be careful which characters you select, particularly on those teams with Regina. And if you are going to select like a medic or a support character, just take a look at their weapons first, because it can proc the weapons. You're not going to be like surprised suddenly when you get stunned, because it definitely can happen. But the signature is good. You just got to be aware. I really like the attack buff. Characters with deal damage in their kit. It does buff his rush too, which is, 1300% damage is good, but with 100% attack buff, it's nuts. As you saw, I showed it in one of the previous clips. It went from like 260, 270 up to like 420, 440. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was massive damage improvement, and that's kind of what that attack buff is going to provide. Now, Abraham is going to be an advanced token wheel character, and if you want to win 10,000 advanced tokens, all you have to do is leave a like on the video and leave a comment down below, and you'll be entered into a giveaway, which I will do before Warrior Champions. Hopefully, I have got a bunch that I have to kind of do before Warrior Champions. I'll do them all in the same stream, and we'll do loads of giveaway draws, and hopefully loads of people will get tokens before Warrior Champions and be able to pull for characters that we want to pull for Warrior Champions. But if you want to enter, that's how you enter. Best of luck. And now back to the video. Now, if we look at Abraham's mythic abilities, these are his passives, of course. He has got agility, which is 20% increase in basic attack damage. This is only going to work when he hits attacks. The deal damage will not get any boost from this. The next one's called Eye Catcher. When taking out a target, this fighter gets 75% halo for 1 turn, and all other teammates get camouflage for 2 turns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to nuke a payback on purpose. And we're going to see when that camouflage comes in. Does it come in before the damage, after the takedown, so on and so forth? The next one is going to be armor piercing rounds. This fighter ignores all enemy defense bonuses and gets 50% attack while performing their adrenaline rush. So 2 parts to this. That ignoring enemy defense bonuses means that if someone has like a 400%, 600%, a 1,000,000% defense buff, which some characters can get crazy defense buffs because of their specialist skill, he doesn't even notice that. He bypasses that completely, and he only pays attention to their base defense. Just that base value, let's say like it would be like 60, 70, 80,000, and that's all he's going to be looking at when it comes to the damage reduction. Any buffs aren't going to work against him. And then obviously the an extra 50% attack when performing his Adrenaline Rush. I don't know why they didn't just make his Adrenaline Rush more powerful, because that will occur pretty much every single time, right? I guess it's to make the passive worth upgrading. But it basically means that his Adrenaline Rush will go from 1300% to nearly 2000. You know, it'll go up quite a bit in terms of just like pure attack. And then obviously the 100% attack buff will stack on top. That's why his Adrenaline Rush is doing way higher damage than you'd expect, because the 800% hit that he did before was doing like 60k, and then his 1300% was doing like 250k, and it's not that big a difference, but it's because he's getting an extra 50% boost from this passive. Now the last passive is called Brush It Off. When taking down a target, this fighter recovers from 3 negative status effects and gets 100% AP. This is what we were seeing with the AP gain happening. The status effect reduction, like removal, is good, because what should happen is if he is impaired, he should remove the impaired, then gain the AP, just based on the order that this is happening. I will try and test that out, but it might not work, because I've noticed that there are some issues with follow-up Michonne, who also has cleanse when taking out a target, but it cleanses afterwards. It's weird in order. So if she's already got impair and she takes out a target where she's gaining 100% AP from her specialist, it might be because it's on her specialist. But like I said, we'll test it out. We've got 2 things to test out on this, really. We've got the camo nuke on a vengeance, and the kind of cleanse, mainly cleanse impair, and see if he can still gain AP. Okay, so the first test should be actually pretty easy. We take down this enemy. We will die with Abraham, but will my teammates die as well? We'll see. And it looks like they will. So the camouflage comes in afterwards, as you can see, but the halo still comes in if we do nuke someone like that. So if you're in a situation where your entire team has camouflage already, let's just do this clip again and I'll show you. So if I start the clip again and I nuke Negan instead, and let's say I was in a situation where the last character alive was a payback, I could command and do his Adrenaline Rush straight away, knowing there's already camouflage on my team. My character would get taken out, but my teammates would be fine, and then I've got Halo on me anyway, and he'd get revived the next turn regardless, no matter what happens. He'll get taken out, but he would get revived if the fight were to continue. Okay, so here we are in a situation where Abraham is impaired, and I want to see if when I take down an enemy, does it cleanse the impair first, then give me AP? This would be the perfect scenario when it comes to how his kit would work. And we do it, and it's exactly how it works. The impair is going to get cleansed, then the AP is going to come in, and it's exactly how it's written in the passive. I guess the reason it happens on Michonne like that is because it's in with her specialist skill, and her specialist skill is ordered before her passive proc, which is actually really disappointing, but that's the way Michonne works. But with Abraham, it works absolutely fine, and you can see he will gain AP. He'll be able to cleanse that impair. So if at the beginning of the fight, he gets impaired off of turn 1, you're fine to use his signature move and just wreck somebody, knowing that that impair is going to get cleansed and he'll gain his AP fully maxed out, absolutely fine. Now if we jump straight into the passives, you can see at grade 1 he gets the first half of Eye Catcher. When taking down a target, this fighter gets 30% Halo for 1 turn, and all other teammates get Camouflage for 2 turns. At grade 2 he gets the first half of Agility, get 10% increase in basic attack damage. At grade 3 he gets the second half of Eye Catcher. When taking out a target, this fighter gets 45% Halo for 1 turn, and all other teammates get Camouflage for 2 turns. That'll be 75% Halo total for Abraham on every takedown. Then at grade 4, he gets the first half of Armor Piercing Rounds. This fighter ignores all enemy defense bonuses and gets 20% attack while performing their Adrenaline Rush. And at grade 5, he gets Brush It Off Part 1. When taking out a target, this fighter recovers from 3 negative status effects and gets 50% AP. It's nice to see, again, kind of where it's guaranteed to happen, just to a lesser effect for grade 4 and 5 upgrades. I always bring attention to that because I like the fact that it isn't like 20% chance to occur. I just like that it's guaranteed, just to a lesser effect. It just means that a character's better to go in on, even if you can only get them to like LB1 or LB2. Generally, it makes them a better character to pull for. Limit Break 1, he gets the second half of Agility, making a 20% increase in basic attack damage total. And Limit Break 2, the second part of Armor Piercing Rounds is going to come in. This fighter ignores all defense bonuses and gets a further 30% attack while performing their Adrenaline Rush, going up to 50% total. And then at limit break 3, he gets the second half of Brush It Off. When taking out a target, this fighter still recovers from 3 negative status effects, but gets a further 50% AP, making it 100% AP total. And this means even something like a basic attack or a signature move, when he's impaired, he'll still cleanse that impair and obviously get the 100% AP. Because that's what happened in the last clip. While normally on a signature move you gain 35, he couldn't gain that 35 because he was impaired, but the cleanse came in of the impair after he did the signature move, and then the AP came in afterwards, so he still had a natural turn 2 Adrenaline Rush, still had that 100% attack buff for turn 2. You could command him turn 1 if you so wished. The options were there, and I do like that cleanse. This is also going to work against everything that's annoying, you know, infection, burn, bleed, all the like damage over times, anything that's got reduction, so for instance damage reduction, so on and so forth. So it's just good all round. Obviously he has to be able to take someone out, but if he's like, let's say he's taunted and he's takes someone out, it should still cleanse and he should still gain the AP, so on and so forth. But yeah, it's just worth noting. I think his passives are nice. They definitely enhance his kit quite a lot. The 50% attack boost to his Adrenaline Rush cannot be understated how powerful that is, because of the deal damage situation that he's going to be in. So 1300% is really good. A 50% boost on top of that is great, and then a further 100% buff on that because of his signature move turn 1 is insane. That's just so much damage stack, plus the 1535s that it could be surrounded by, and maybe an improved 1535 in his hands. I think there is a tough one rolling around. So yeah, attack stat really high on Abraham, damage really high on Abraham. It's pretty much as simple as that. Now Abraham does have a specialist skill, and it is called Beheading. When this fighter lands the killing blow on a target, that character is decapped and cannot be revived. When this fighter attacks a target that has 20% HP or less, including bonus HP, the target will be ultimately taken out. And this second part basically works like Execute. It is a dual specialist. It was one of the kind of cooler ones that came in. There are a couple of other characters that have this. I think Ghost has it. I think, you know, a couple of other characters has it. They're quite nice. But generally speaking, the specialist skill is decent. But I will say Decap has fallen off a little bit with the massive introduction of like Decap resist specialist skills and Decap resist like signature moves and so on and so forth on defense teams. Now Abraham has an attached weapon, but not just any attached weapon. It is a Gatling gun. Abraham's Savage Machine Gun. It has got 45% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking. In the third slot, it has improved stronger attack plus burn. When attacking, a 60% chance to attack with the stronger trait against an enemy and deal 9% of this fighter's attack stat in burn damage for 2 turns. And in the last slot, it has superior trait advantage, increased trait advantage damage multiplier by 50%. So this is a peculiar weapon. It's going to require heavy testing to know if this weapon is actually the better weapon to use versus just stacking another 1535 or improved 1535 in his hands. Remember, third slots do not work on any of the deal damage he does, including the improved stronger attacks, because it's when attacking. However, if he does those attacks and crit, the multi-attacks, they can use this, and it could be useful. There's not too many third slots that are going to work with deal damage anyway. I would say you just want to test out and see if the last slot is worthwhile. The damage multiplier for trait damage is going to work on combat mods plus his own trait advantage, so he'll automatically get against alerts. But if you had like versus fast and versus strong on his mods, he would get a 50% damage multiplier against those 3 traits that he was doing already. So that you could see that as an improvement that will work with deal damage, because this just says it will increase the multiplier that he does on the advantage damage. It doesn't say when attacking, so that should 100% work. The attack on this weapon just boosts up to 55. Test it out, and then 1535s around him, and you'll see if it's worthwhile. You'll just kind of be able to gauge on the signature move if this is the better weapon or not. Now, even if it is slightly better for Abraham, it could still be better to use a 1535 just so it buffs the other character next to Abraham, especially if it was someone like Ruben or something, if you wanted to duel them up in a team. So this was a little first look at Abraham No Way Out as a character coming to the game, like I said, on the advanced token wheel. He is a pretty hefty damage dealer. He'll be useful against Regina teams for sure, but he'll be useful against every team. I'd say he has a bit more of a rounded usage than Ruben, just because he isn't pure deal damage, and obviously it comes down to who you attack and, you know, what kind of damage output you're going to do. He is a bit more sufficient as well because of the attack buff he gives to himself, but he doesn't have like the kind of strings to his bow that Ruben has when it comes to normalizing stuff. But I think
the team up of both of these characters should be kind of immense. They're both tough. There's a lot of alert characters rolling around that are horrible to deal with, and I think the damage output on these characters should be actually pretty decent. Let me know your thoughts though on Abraham, new characters coming to the game. That is it in my video, guys. Best of luck if you enter the giveaway. I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.